Well, hello, everybody. It is your friend Ryan Gray here. We are coming to you live from the site of NWMET 2026. We are on the campus of Utah, or the University of Utah, in their absolutely gorgeous student event center. And the conference is just getting started. Pre-conference sessions today, but HETMA is here. We have a booth, and we are excited to be part of the community. You know, if the AV community is together somewhere, HETMA is going to be there, and we are looking forward to who all we might be able to talk to, the voices we can bring you from the higher ed AV community over the next couple of days. So thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for more from the site of NWMET 2026. All right, we have our first guest with us today. So I have to Treb. So Treb from the University of San Diego.
UC San Diego.
I've already messed it up. This is why I'm not the right host. From UC San Diego. So I know you mentioned you are just kind of the last minute, someone was like, hey, you got to get over here to NWMET. And you were telling us a little bit about kind of your unique role. What does that look like for you, and why is an event like this a good one for you to be at?
So this is a wonderful chance for me because I've spent 2 decades working in classroom technology, but you come from that, and now I'm lucky enough to have a role that allows me to work with the instructors and the pedagogical side of it, and then finding out their pain points to tie that in to our classroom technologies. So I'm lucky enough to have a wonderful team that actually does AV install, classroom support, and I can be the bridge between that and the instructor side to have conversations about what we're trying to accomplish and help elevate our AV needs and our AV goals to the campus as a whole, giving them a person to speak also. So the conversation on both sides.
So you get to live, it sounds like, in a world where like the hardware and the technology of the hardware is an important part. The pedagogy is an important part. How it ties into the overall, educational flow and plan for your university is part of a whole soup that you're trying to meld into something coherent.
100%. That's exactly what we're going for. And a lot of it is the conversations that you already probably have with people, which is trying to find out what is it they're struggling with. So it's we don't try to find technology to put in a classroom. Like, we walk this space and there's amazing things that light up and shine. We're not trying to find things that are new to put in the room. We're trying to find what are things we're trying to accomplish. What are the goals we're accomplishing? Like I said before, what are the pain points we're trying to address? And then we can find technology that suits that and helps support that kind of those goals and alleviate the pain points.
That's awesome. It's so cool, like you mentioned, being at a place of the scale to be able to specialize people in that way. You know what I'm saying? What a cool resource to be able to bring to bear for your students and do it with intentionality by assigning like people's actual primary time and effort to that.
It is amazing.
Role.
I did 10 years at a smaller state university where I was the one person for everything, like many people are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now that we actually have a team of people, having that opportunity is really amazing and is fun to do.
Nice. Well, if I happen to be out in San Diego anytime, can I hit you up and we'll come visit?
By. Let's do a tour. Let's show you some stuff.
That's what I'm saying. San Diego is a lovely place to be. It'd be a great place for an event like this, I think.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%.
So, all right. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for talking with us. Appreciate it. All right, we are back, and we have found your friend and mine, one of the biggest celebrities of the industry, Mr. Chris Dechter. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing just fine, Ryan. We're messing with your new camera and microphone system.
I know.
Is this the first use of this?
It is the first actual.
This is the inaugural use.
Thing.
Ryan and I have been pushing buttons, breaking little clippy things.
Sometimes it goes beep, beep.
It beeped at us twice.
Yeah.
That said we'd been recording for 15 minutes, but also with no audio.
Right. So I think when we'll make sure to include that in the episode.
That'll be exciting video of no audio, just showing people walking by.
That's called BTS or B-roll, I believe.
Yeah, that's just for some background. There are like dog hairs on here.
Are there?
Who has the dog?
Oh, I have a dog. It's probably mine.
Is that your dog's hair?
It's very likely my
Yes.
dog's hair. Yes. Okay, so NWMET.
We are at
first time for you?
I've never heard of this show before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe this is your second. Is that correct?
This is my second. It's been a few years.
Is your attendance at this show my fault?
Yes.
Okay. I've had
as are most things your fault, but yeah.
True. I've had multiple people come up and tell me that they're here because it's of me, and I hope that's a good thing, but it could also be a very bad thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping their experience is good. I've seen some return a second time, which either means they had a good experience or they were tricked and forgot to unenroll from their automatic flight and conference attendance.
registration.
Yes,
Yeah. No, NWMET. So the first one I was at was Carroll College.
That's right.
In Helena, Montana, which was spectacular. I loved it. It just happened because then there was a time conflict with Boise, and some of that I couldn't make the other ones.
Yeah,
so.
they've moved when they are, but I think
Yeah.
next year we're back to March. So
Cool. Yeah.
I assume you're here this year because you either didn't have that conflict or you've now canceled your commencement.
No,
be here.
no, that is what messed me up for Boise. No, our commencement has passed.
Okay.
So it didn't happen
you
to
have
land that
commenced,
way.
okay.
All things have commenced.
So yes, we are here at Northwest Met. We are Northwest Metting with people. It is our
And where are we?
opening day reception at the University of Utah.
Yep.
In lovely downtown Salt Lake City, or I suppose the edge of town Salt Lake
We're
City.
kind of like foothills, right?
The shoulders of Salt Lake
Yes.
It
The entire campus seems to be one way uphill, one way
Yes,
downhill.
it is entirely on a hillside. We had some snow yesterday. That was
Nice.
fun. It was much more seasonably cold than you would expect for May, but I don't know if that's... People seem to be enjoying it's sunny right now. People seem to be enjoying the brisker weather than blazingly hot. I guess it was 95 last week.
Right. No, it's beautiful. So for all the folks, right, that can't make it to NWMET, you have quite a presentation planned with some of your AV SuperFriend friends.
Yeah, so we're doing a presentation. It started based on one, as with many conference presentations. You put in the proposal 6 months in ahead, 6 months in advance,
Right.
And then you remember that you are going to be presenting, and you have to like put the presentation back together. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're presenting on AI.
Yeah.
There have been no developments at all
Right.
in AI in the last 6 months. There's been no changes to any of the
I know,
technologies.
it's so comfortable.
So we just dug out that old slides deck from so that's been the problem is we've done several presentations on this, and I presented at all of them, but with various members of AV SuperFriends. So Justin and I presented last fall at ETC.
Yep.
And then about a month and a half ago, Justin and Mark and I presented as part of the ETC SCOMS AETC Global Higher Ed Technology Day at like 11 o'clock at night or something.
Right,
So it was interesting. And so now we're presenting here, and the idea was, well, let's show people, let's get into the weeds on this and show people how to build a local agent, how to build a local LLM, and like leverage that with your data.
Right.
And what we found as we've been working on that is it works. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It is heavily dependent on the computer hardware you're running it on. So
Right.
your laptop better be pretty beefy.
Yeah.
We're encouraging people to bring laptops with them. We're going to provide the files. We're going to provide these 6,000 some lines of code
Right.
as part of that, and you can take that home with you. The challenge being, I don't know if we're going to be able to successfully get people stood up, because if
Right.
everything works great, it takes you 20 minutes.
Right.
If you get to start fighting admin restrictions, or the files are in the wrong working directory, or you're on Mac in Terminal, or you're on Windows in PowerShell, there can be some quirks. So we'll see how that goes. It does work. It may take you some fiddling to get it going, but what we're going to talk about specifically is why you want to run a local model,
Right.
security, limiting the data, also guaranteeing you're not paying money, as many of these, let's say, cloud-hosted solutions are faster because they're using big, powerful hardware, but that starts to cost you money either in a flat rate, and by the way, those flat rate plans are all going to be going away soon,
Yeah.
and you're going to be paying per token or per credit, which starts to add up. And so you may say, oh, I'm paying 20 or 30 bucks a month, and it may literally tell you you're out of credits, you got to wait for a couple of days or wait till next month or whatever that may be. So the challenge being, if you're starting to use this stuff for work related stuff, you may run into issues where what you're trying to do all of a sudden you can't because you're out of money, basically.
Right, and you're dependent on it now.
And now you're
so
stuck.
now they can charge you anything they
So
want.
that's the concept of like, well, we'll show you how to build this locally. There's no tokens involved. It's slower. But if you have, I brought a secondary laptop, which is you would consider it a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
It's got lots of RAM and lots of GPU, and we'll run it on that. And you'll see it's not that same experience of getting an instant result. It takes a few seconds. It takes the first one. It takes like a minute or so to literally spin up and load all that data.
Yeah.
But then it kind of populates very slowly as it goes, so it's like watching something on a teletype, which is kind of interesting. But you're getting the same kind of results on that. So from the capability of somebody working in the field or doing AV or IT kind of design work or engineering, you could kind of custom build your own version of exactly the data you want, take it with you on your device or even host it on just your campus, and then have access to that from anywhere or even from your phone, depending on how you have it set up. But you're not going to be paying some sort of recurring fee for that. So you're kind of front-loading the work on that, but building it out locally to avoid kind of those recurring fees and ensuring it's all secure, you're not sending it to the cloud and all that.
Nice.
And then the really interesting is, what's that look like in 6 months, a year, 2 years? Is it something you could have your team all working on and building out kind of like a shared repository of just the stuff for your campus or just the stuff you're interested in? I don't know. We'll see what that looks like.
Yeah.
But the goal is to kind of do this sort of presentation on AI's current like usefulness every couple of months, every year sort of thing, and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
So
when it seems like you've got this chance to kind of build a kind of a group cohort that is started it and can help each other, like, oh, we've done this, we've done that, and that's a whole other area of growth for people to exchange ideas on.
That's right, and that's a good point. I mean, you could leverage the people who are here, leverage people who are going to be in the workshop, find others who are interested on it, and kind of keep building on that, what they're doing with it, and kind of get some tips and tricks, because a lot of it is based on literally just kind of farting around with it and seeing what it does, and trying out different models or trying out different different harnesses to see how they respond and switching from one to the other. And it's interesting, people are running their business on it, people are doing heavy AV engineering on it, people are just using it for some more admin tasks of writing your scopes of work and your emails to that annoying client, and you want to find that right balance of tone. So there's a lot of capability there, but it's also kind of the wild, wild west at this point. So we shall see how that plays out. So we're going to do the same presentation here, and then for 3 weeks we're doing that at Infocom.
Yeah.
Obviously different audience. We'll see how that goes. It will change between now and then.
Yep.
And then it will change the next time we kind of host something on this, potentially at ETC or somewhere similar, and kind of see what that looks like. So I think there's a lot of potential. So what we're going to do in the session here is we're going to show off kind of the end result. Here's what we're going to be building.
Yeah.
Then we're going to talk about the structure and the architecture and how you build that. We're going to encourage people to try to build it. Like I said, if everything goes great, it takes 20 minutes.
Right.
If you get that error like I did on step 2, error, and it took me like an hour and a half to figure out what's going on and get that all sorted out, but I did. It works. And then we're going to show a cloud-hosted version and show the advantages of doing this in the cloud, because they've got way more horsepower and way more bandwidth, so you get much faster results. But we are going to give people the code and encourage them to kind of explore and see how that goes. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, talk about the value that can bring to people, and why. I love it. You're going to have it at Infocom, but you're also bringing it to things like NWMET for regional things. I just love it's something, talk about built by one of us for our purpose, to say, this is something you can trust, and it's built by somebody doing the same job that you're doing.
Yeah, these are AV nerds at universities who built this, and so it will speak your language. Yep. For example, one of the things we're going to talk about is, and it's the stuff we do all the time, how bright of a projector do I need for this room?
Right.
But you don't have to ask it anything more than that. It'll prompt you for things like, well, how big is the room, and what's the brightness look like? But the idea is don't give it all the information. Don't provide a very structured breakdown of all. Just ask it like you would a human.
Yeah.
How many speakers do you need for this room?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to say, how big is the room?
Yeah.
How high is the ceiling? And as it does that, you can feed it in the speakers that you like, and so it's customized for you. Yeah. Because you probably use different speakers than I do. Right. The loudspeakers I choose.
Well, no, I just copy whatever you're buying.
That's the correct answer.
Whenever you do a PO, we just say whatever you bought.
Find
just
out what
ship
they bought.
It to us too.
Buy more of it.
Yeah.
But you can really dial that in for your use cases, and then you can build those out. So the things that we do, even just in our heads, that we're doing 8, 10, 12 times a week, sort of thing. We can not offload that work, but we can streamline that and have it automated through that. And then you can train up your junior staff on that, or they can get more experience of kind of why it's doing it. And like I said, we're going to get in under the hood so you can see how we built it and how it's working. Yeah. Which, as you really dial that in, it's fundamentally very straightforward. It's just doing a lot of that stuff very quickly, and so it looks like it's instantaneous, and there's some sort of magic person inside the computer. Right. So should be fun. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, you've built something that has so much context already in it. Yes. It just becomes highly relevant much faster. And I know you've always been someone who advocates for, offload the non-brain work, right? Keep the you want to maintain the knowledge work. Maintain the knowledge work, offload the non-knowledge work. Correct. So this seems like an extension of that, where you're going, I'm still in control of the knowledge work, but it's what we talk about is not inhuman, but inhumane tasks, the repetitive things that now you can use a model to speed up, and so that you can concentrate on
the creativity or the other things that only you can do.
Yeah, and you do want to maintain control over that, because it's, I mean, as much fun as it is to climb ladders and install stuff or pull cable or whatever, and those are all great skills to have, and you want to make sure you're skilled up on that. Owning the knowledge side of things, owning the design, the consulting, the engineering side, really make sure you own your systems, you own the project.
Right.
You're the one who has to feed and take care of it for 10 years, so you might as well know it all the way through.
Yeah.
So if something like this can become a tool for somebody
Yeah.
to ensure that they know how to specify exactly the right number of speakers for a room, they need to specify how big of a display they need, how bright of a projector, whatever it may be, and this is all just, it's all the, the standard math you can do. You can sit there and do the math longhand if you choose, because some of us are nerds and enjoy that. But is that the best use of my time? Probably not. But if I can skill up somebody who's like a more junior staff member, maybe they're a smaller school and they're kind of just getting their feet wet or learning this, they can still maintain and own that knowledge work, but at the same time have someone else kind of doing the heavy lifting math for them, and just like basically using it like an online calculator, for lack of a better term, and that's probably a good way to think of it.
That's awesome. Well, again, I'm pumped to hear about it. I'm glad that my team gets to hear about it.
Good.
And thanks for taking so much time to share it with us.
So we'll find out, who from YavaPi is there, and we'll make sure we give them the wrong information.
That would be, as you know, what we're used to that though. That's we're always dealing with misinformation. So
we'll see how it goes. We're using this one as kind of our first roll out of this, and then we'll fine tune as we go and continue developing it. So I think there's a lot of capabilities.
All right, we'll follow along. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. Okay, we are back, and we have invaded the Epiphan booth.
Wow.
Like I've come in, I've taken over.
You're in my physical space.
I actually kind of am in your physical space, but you told me I could do it, so it's
I welcome it.
All right, thank you. So Ron, if you're watching and you don't know Ron, that's not possible. This is Ron Epstein of Epiphan Video. So people are really familiar with your guys' product, what you do. You do so much work around higher ed, and I don't think there's anyone as well traveled in visiting higher ed campuses, talking to people in higher ed technology. You know what I'm saying? You probably are on first name basis with more higher people who are working on campus every day than anybody else.
Wow. Okay.
That is my opinion.
Okay. I will put that on my LinkedIn. Okay, keep going.
And you are Higher Ed Ally of the Year.
But
right?
the year is ending.
The year is ending.
It's been a tremendous year, though.
But there is that for a reason. Yes. Okay, so but given that, you also, so those of us that work in schools and on campus, we are part of a system of higher education that sometimes is self-perpetuating in of itself. And you get a little distance. You get to kind of look at who we are and what we're doing from a distance. So given that perspective, is there something that we are doing, or what's something that we might be blind to that you could have perspective on that we might not catch?
So, great question. I know that you guys are busy, and I think that's first and foremost. And one of the things that I've gleaned from every conversation I've had is you guys are really busy. So we're in the midst of install season, right? So you being out here is probably taking away a lot of time that you're going to pay for later.
Fair point.
And you've got your teams working on and everything. And so I think, from your perspective, what are you missing? I don't necessarily think it's what you're missing. I think it's what you're exposed to. So you go to shows like Infocom, you have conversations, all this stuff is really overwhelming. You've got manufacturers and vendors beating down your door to show you the newest product and everything. And it's just a lot of information all at once. And if you take a look at all this stuff, there's so many things, and some of them are similar. Everybody's got a version of the similar thing, and they want you to convert their campus over to another thing. I think, if I can rephrase part of the question is what are we missing as manufacturers talking to higher education? And I think a lot of it is empathy. And we, I don't want to say Epiphan, but there's a lot of manufacturers that are constantly chasing POs. And we don't care how much we bother you. And we don't care if you're ready. We don't take the time throughout the year to understand your needs a year or 2 years out. We want to know if you're ready to cut that PO right now. And if you're not, talk to you in a year. So for me, I think we've almost disenfranchised the higher education vertical by being so aggressive.
Interesting. So what you're saying is manufacturers in general kind of
We need to do a better job, and by we, I mean the entire
industry.
The entire Pro AV industry needs to do a better job of understanding their target market.
Okay.
They need to listen to their target market. They need to develop solutions that fit the target market. They need to communicate with the target market, and they need to provide that communication to the higher ups.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, if there's been one thing that I've kind of focused on in my role here is listening.
Yeah.
As I will grab this guy, because it's always a sales pitch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
But-
this guy, Pearl Nexus, is our flagship product.
Yeah.
This product, Frank Alamo is at this show, walking around doing his thing, but this was co-developed with him.
Yeah.
And this came out of a conversation with him of what can Epiphan do to better serve the higher education vertical.
Yeah.
And we listened, we developed, and we didn't look at the customer as a customer, we looked at the customer as a partner.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of these companies, they forget the amazing resource that you guys are.
Yeah.
You guys are literally like free reviewers, free think tanks. For me, it makes the job way easier because I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. So
Are you asking me to argue with you? Or?
I was
No,
hoping for a
no.
little pushback, but I didn't get it. So, okay, very, very true to form. So, people need to listen. People need to develop, and with layers of management and companies and everything, a lot of that information doesn't get through.
Yeah.
So to me, I say, higher education. What are you missing? You're not expecting enough out of your vendors.
Ah.
You are used to the same old thing. Everybody telling you yes,
Right.
smiling at you, taking you out to a nice dinner,
Right.
and then they want the PO.
Yeah.
And instead of working with you, bringing their engineering to you,
Yep.
and developing the product that you need and you've asked for,
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest course of action.
Yeah, so it's a great point because there's a lot of conversation about how a lot of times manufacturers, what you have are things developed for corporate that they're trying to tell us and also for education because it kind of fits some Venn diagram versus something literally built because education needed that thing.
The marketing tag for this product when we launched it was the first and only lecture capture built for higher education.
Yeah.
This is not a product that got repurposed from something else.
Yeah.
This was built for you.
Yeah.
Because you asked for it.
Well, and so let me ask you this question then. Okay, so you've listened, you take the time, you make this product that's neat, but it'd be great for everybody to do that out of the goodness of their heart, but you need, if you're going to take that, for it to have ROI for a company or you don't have a company anymore. How has that product done for you?
Well, I'd say Pearl Nexus by far is our number one product.
Yeah.
It has completely transformed the company. Years ago, we were kind of known as a broadcast company. We are now a higher education company. Where the camera is situated, you can't see our EC20 on the table over there. But
but watch this.
But you can also lift it. There you go.
Yeah.
So this guy is also built for the higher education vertical.
Yep.
And if you look at it, you're like, cool, a camera. Where have I seen a camera before?
Yeah.
But it's not just about the camera. It's
Right.
about the ecosystem of the camera. Most times, cameras are just dumb devices.
Yeah.
They record, they spit the video somewhere else, and that's it. AI is a weird word, or it's actually not
Acronym.
a word, it's an acronym,
Yeah.
right? So, everybody likes to say, well, it's got AI, it's got AI. And the thing is that a marketing term, or is it the idea of building on top of a platform? So the camera that we're looking at is not a dumb device. It fits into your lecture capture need.
Yeah.
It works flawlessly, but beyond all that stuff, because anybody can say that,
Right.
we've got a managing, monitoring, provisioning
Yeah.
program called Edge, where you can look into the classroom. You can take control of the classroom. You can get analytics from the classroom and everything. And so for us, you know, is it a product business? Is it a solutions business? You know, you ask everybody here, it's a solutions business, right? We sell a solution. We don't sell products. We want this thing. But the thing is it truly a solution? Or is it just a bunch of products strung together?
Yeah.
And honestly, a true solution works with everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't require one manufacturer to do it.
Right.
So for us, we work with everybody. We've got this banner over here that has Crestron's logo, Q-SYS, Extron's logo, Panopto, Kaltura, Echo. We work with everybody because we know that your needs are different.
Yeah.
No, there is no one way to do this thing. And if we tell you that the only way to do this thing is with our stuff, we're missing the boat.
Right. That makes sense. And what you're talking about when you talk about solutions is there is an experience, and you're tied into, like, just as we talk about the experience of our students in our rooms, you're talking about our experience working in your ecosystem.
Sure.
But you've built your ecosystem in a way that it can go into any other place it needs. You go, here's what we can do. We can have products and a platform that puts what you need at your fingertips, makes it easy to use, easy to manage and monitor, but we're not going to tell you outside of that how you have to make it work.
Sure.
So you can be, like you said, a Panopto house or a Kaltura house, no problem.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the way you want it, because having been in this industry, right now, this is my 20th year in this industry, which is...
Is that messing you up a little?
It is. Yeah. It's not good. So 20 years in this industry, having worked for multiple manufacturers, I have been in the very big companies. I've been in the small companies. I think a lot of it, especially from how Epiphan approaches it, we approach it with a hunger.
Yeah.
We don't approach it with, hey, you remember us from 5-10 years ago and everything. I need you to remember us now and tomorrow and not rely on past success.
Right.
So for us, a lot of it, you know, coming out of the pandemic, everybody changed their philosophy on campus.
Yeah.
You guys are no longer beholden to one manufacturer.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution that I think the industry is kind of like, it's taking a little too much time. And that's, so when we say, going back to the original question, what are you guys missing? You guys are bombarded with one story per company. You're getting their story, which is our stuff is great. And yeah, fine, if you want other people's stuff, that's okay, but really get our stuff. For us, I think the way it should be is you tell us what you need, and we will tell you how we can work with your existing system. You should not have to rip out a room.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money, it's a waste of budget. So what we're trying to do is try to get more out of your investment. So why does lecture capture work? How much money do you spend on your projector, your document camera, your microphones, your control system, all these things that you've spent a ridiculous amount of money on.
Right.
How do you get more out of that investment? And that's the approach. Is we're not trying to tell you to rip out all that other stuff.
Right.
We're not competing against other companies. We want you guys to succeed, and once you succeed, we're there for you, and hopefully we can develop something else you need too.
Yeah. No, and you're, as you said, you're not only did that product come out of it, and I can say this, of all the companies that have wanted to talk about, you know, tell us what you need, there's always a tinge of, but we already have the answer.
Correct.
And the times I've talked with Epiphan, which has been multiple calls with your engineers, there's no but at the end of it. It is literally, tell us this part. And then what comes after it isn't a statement, it's a further question and a further question. You know what I'm saying? Dante, why is that important to you?
Correct.
Why, you know what I'm saying? What does that do? What does it not do for you? Is that like, and it has that sort of feeling of like you said, building something together, but also, rather than, you know.
Communicating a roadmap, I think, is also important too. And I think that, so once again, tie back to the original question.
Yeah.
What are you missing? I put together an internal report a while ago on your typical classroom AV manager.
Yep.
And the number one thing I put on the list was they're busy.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I start there. They're busy. 2, they're stressed.
Yeah.
3, they've got multiple bosses.
Yes.
They have, and the thing is, you don't even think about it. Students, your boss, the provost,
Yep.
the dean, the donors, and everything. And one of the more interesting things I've heard this week is I love data that I don't have to look up myself.
Right.
Somebody tells me something, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Or I'll
Trust but verify.
What came out of this week was a classroom that goes down. What the cost of a classroom that goes down in tuition money. So, like, that's a weird thing that people don't think about.
Yeah.
Is a classroom that goes down in what it costs students. By the way, in what it costs students, rolls its way back into the school in a bad way. Was about $5,000 for a classroom.
Right.
And so $5,000 for a classroom, and by the way, if that's an auditorium,
Oh my God.
that number is astronomical.
Times 200.
So once you start talking about these things and rooms being offline, and you guys, the beauty is you guys don't cut corners. You can't afford to cut corners.
Yeah.
You don't have a job if you cut corners. So your need to have the best technology, the problem is that sometimes big companies, they have regional salespeople, they've got people knocking on your door, taking all your time and everything, that you don't get to see everything.
Yeah.
Because you have a finite amount of time. Once again, you're busy.
Yeah.
So I think that's the unfortunate thing, and I think that's why shows like Infocom, that's why shows like we're at NWMET right now, the HETMA road shows are so important, because you have an opportunity to look and see and touch and introduce yourself to people that you don't usually have the time to do.
Yeah. And the other key thing with that is people who want to actually make that connection. People who, if you called them the next week, they will call you back.
I got
right?
nothing going on in my life.
No,
Just
but-
nothing. It's
But everyone's busy. You're busy also. But that idea that it is the opening of a conversation to meet somebody new at a show like this, not the one chance to try and get a PO put out or something
but
like that.
so here's the weird thing is that in terms of, because the dreaded PO thing.
Yeah.
I try to look at it a little differently, and I say it's pride. I think of the pride of getting a school to believe in you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
basically giving over the trust to have the classroom operate. That's a prideful thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I always look at it like a partnership.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like, here's a PO, I moved on. Not for nothing, if we sold you something 5 years ago, 10 years ago, last week, you get the same level of care and service, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And, companies that kind of bounce from, don't necessarily train their salespeople the right way and everything, all of that stuff matters.
Yeah.
So I think, is that a function of being a smaller company, a little bit more hands-on? Is it a function of having the right personnel
Yep.
and understanding who they're talking to? I think there's a mix of everything, and nothing's perfect. But I think taking pride as a manufacturer in what your customers accomplish
Yeah.
is such a special thing.
Yeah.
It's still the type of thing where, whether my kids want to listen to me or not, I'll tell them, I'm like, see that school? We're
do.
in that school.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, whatever, Dad, but-
but to me, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think to be able to work with people and for them to trust you, to call on you, to feel that comfortable, telling you the bad stuff, telling you the good
Yeah.
stuff, and knowing that it's going to actually go somewhere and it's not just venting,
Yeah.
I think is super important.
Yeah, I agree. And that, yeah, see, this is why it's a different conversation when you come
This is
talk
why
with
I'm
you.
not doing the pitch in front of the booth and
Exactly.
telling you, like a used car salesman, why you should
But
come
this is what I'm saying.
and look at our
It's
stuff.
a reason.
Yeah.
Ally of the Year, the conversation you want to have is
Am
not
I-
the same conversation that
Am
everybody.
am I eligible for a repeat of hire? I'm going to ask you the real questions.
Yeah.
now. So this
Yeah.
could happen again.
I have no idea. I don't
I
know
feel
the
like
rule
you-
of that.
So this
I
is
really
it's
don't.
a one-term thing.
So I feel like, so here's what would be my answer. I know there's no rule against it.
Okay.
But my guess is because the awards, there's a pretty big group. There's like 25 people evaluating this year, right? So it probably matters a little, like there may be a feeling in that group of we should spread the wealth.
I think the better approach would have been just saying, Ron, it's just one time. Just don't get your hopes up.
But I don't want to. I don't
You
want
don't
to.
know.
I don't want to tell you something that's not true.
I mean, you tell me that all the time. Right?
I only sometimes.
Only sometimes.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Always a different conversation with you. Always appreciate your insight.
Anytime.
And always appreciate. I like a conversation where I leave going, I was asking the questions and I left with more questions than I came in with.
Well,
That's a good chat.
Let's answer those questions at InfoCom.
That's what I'm saying. So
Bring your big questions.
dude, that's a good place for big questions, isn't
I
it?
won't have answers, but bring them.
All right. Well, we're looking for. I know you'll be there. I know Epiphan will be there representing. We're looking forward to seeing you there, and I appreciate your time here.
Okay, we're gonna
There's like 18,
end on a handshake.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at that.
lefty
Look at that.
handshake.
Look at that.
And all the like 20 million people that walked by and you ignored to talk to me during this whole time.
I would ignore anybody for you.
Tell me about it. All right, Ron. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to HETMA Presents. This show is a production of Higher Ed AV Media. Please visit higherEdav.com to learn more about this show and a host of others. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. We'll be back soon with another installment of HETMA Presents.